Do you believe in signs from God or the universe? I certainly do. I absolutely believe that there are no coincidences, and I've had my fair share of experiences throughout my lifetime that continuously reminds me that that is true. In fact, if you're watching this video, then it was meant to be. Sure, it doesn't mean you have to trust me with all the information there is to know about printables, but it does mean that you are getting a calling of some kind to explore the idea of selling printables. And that right there is your first sign. So let's explore some of the other signs you might be getting, signaling that it's time to get started with your printables business. Now, one of the biggest signs that you might want to start a printables business is if you're feeling that yearning to be creative and you aren't sure how to express it. Many times we aren't getting that opportunity to flex our creative muscle in our 9-to-5 job. This can spur the need for a creative outlet in our lives. To me, a creative outlet is something you can do that doesn't take a lot of thought, right? It comes naturally. It's like coloring or painting or knitting, and not necessarily well, by the way. In fact, we don't really care about how it turns out in the end. It's more about just the act of doing it. I relate this a little bit to meditation. If you aren't into meditation, finding a creative outlet like creating printables is such a great way to get similar benefits. It feels nice and calm as you make changes to your printables, you add graphics, you change the fonts, and time passes quickly. You can turn on music, a podcast, or a TV show in the background, and you're just in flow. So if you're yearning for that kind of experience in your life, could it be a sign that it's time to start a side hustle that allows you to express that creativity? And could printables be the right side hustle? If you're already a creative person, then it might so happen that you already have a creative business of some kind. You might already be using your creative skills to make handmade items. I can certainly relate to this, since before creating printables, I sold handmade party decorations on Etsy. Creating my party decorations put me in that calm, meditative flow that we just talked about. And I love putting on a podcast and just crafting. But as the orders rolled in, the bank account wasn't looking much different. On top of that, my back was aching from leaning over and making the decorations, and I was stressing to send orders just hours before we were meant to leave on vacation. And missing dinners and staying up late in my craft room was not what I was thinking when I first created my creative business. A printables business fixed those things for me. Now I can make designs in that meditative state, but I don't have to do anything after the sale. So perhaps you're getting similar signs. Your back is aching from all the hard work in your creative business, or you're just working so hard and you're wondering if there's a better way. Well, here's your sign that there is. Maybe you have enough creative outlets already in your life, but you're still looking for your purpose. It's that age-old question that everyone wants to know. Why am I here? Well, I believe that we don't necessarily just have one purpose. We have different purposes at different seasons in our lives. And one of those seasons could absolutely be to create printables. After all, you can find your purpose when you're bringing value to others. Not only that, but when you get into owning your own business and the world of entrepreneurship, you start to learn some really interesting things about yourself. It's the reason I got into personal development after starting my side hustle, and the reason I started coaching women online. Starting my business was the best way to start really knowing myself, which inevitably led to my purpose. So if you've been getting that nudge to start looking for your purpose and hearing that little intuitive voice in your head asking you why you're here, I believe that's another huge sign that starting a side hustle like selling printables is a great place to start. As I've said, I don't believe in coincidences, and I believe that something always leads to something. So if you're thinking at all about making printables, there's something about that that excites you, that's drawing you towards it. Don't fight that feeling. Follow the signs and your intuition and take those next steps to actually get started. So what are the next steps to start a printable side hustle? Well, first, you have to figure out what printables you're gonna sell. Have you been getting any signs about that? If not, I'm gonna give you that sign right now. If you head over to atouchofla.com/AI, I'm gonna share with you a free guide that will help you use ChatGPT as your personal assistant to start coming up with printables ideas. So that's your next step. And remember, something always leads to something. So once you take that next step, you're gonna get your next sign very soon. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled. I'll see you in the next video.